Wow!
Welcome back. I'm so happy that you came back again.
Thank you.
Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, because, you know.
We like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about this girl by the name of Nikki Jabs. I guess she is some sort of influencer of sorts on various applications like Instagram,
it looks like
and
Instagram
TikTok
least,
or whatever. Yeah. So anyways, she's a 30-year-old woman who recently was in a short-term...
I thought she was younger.
She looks a lot young. Yeah. Good. So anyways, 30 years old. She was in a short relationship with a man who she met on a dating app, and basically the relationship lasted like 3 weeks, and at the end of the relationship there was an issue with how she perceived his actions as being controlling. So what happened was they were going to a party that was for his job. He works for an athleisure company, and this takes place in Chicago. So she went, she was planning on going to this party with him, and she got all dressed up, or so she thought, and met up with him, and he was not impressed by whatever she was wearing. And he didn't say anything about it. He just kept looking at her, and then when she asked him what was wrong, he would just say nothing. And then eventually, like, this went on, and they got to the restaurant, and he made comments about, like, how, oh, you just look so pretty, but, like, that's not really telling anybody anything.
No.
So then eventually, like, she got it out of him, like, that he wasn't really interested in what the outfit that she was wearing would not be appropriate, or so he thought, for the event that they were going to for his work. So then she was like, oh, this is what I'm wearing, and if you don't like it, then I guess it's either I'm going to the event looking like this, or I'm going to go home. And then he ended up calling her an Uber, and then she was upset. And then so in her mind, she decided that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, and the relationship was over because he was being too controlling. And then he tried to apologize, and the damage was done, and then she moved on. Other aspects of the story she mentioned was that he had been making little comments about, like, she's a woman who wears makeup. Basically, he had been saying things about her makeup and how he liked her better when she didn't wear makeup, and, like, as she said, how at first it seemed like he was just paying her compliments about how he thought she was beautiful without.
I know, then don't date someone who wears makeup.
But then it became a thing where, like, he was bothered by her wearing makeup. And
people
it's like,
who like makeup like it.
Do you, like, at that point, yeah, the relationship it doesn't need to go on, because why do you want to be with somebody who doesn't like how you look? You know what I mean? Like, if you came in to this relationship as a makeup wearer, and this person is now making all these, like, little comments, whether they're benign or, like, blatantly, like, take your makeup off, or I don't like what, you know what I mean? This is not what you signed up for, and yeah, you definitely should make an exit. But you brought up an interesting point.
But hold on. I'm not shaming other women. I'm not doing that hate thing. I'm saying from my own perspective, right? So me is me. I'm not the whole world. If I am your whole world, thank you. I'm not, right? So Simone told me first, and I was like, oh yeah, that's, and I'm on Simone's side, and I thought all the things. But then she let me read through it, and then there's more pictures, so there's more context. And seeing her outfit, it was amazing. Like, so she had a trench coat. It was like a fuchsia trench coat that was like satiny but structured, and it is really nice. But that's something that I would wear with, again, my perspective, I would wear with a more cocktail dress that was sleeker, more dressed up, right? But she was wearing it with like a lighter, almost like a pastel pink high-waisted pant and a black crop top. So she was pretty dressed down under. And for me, the pink just didn't really do much with
the jacket,
the fuchsia jacket.
It was a clash.
Even the crop top being black, it was not necessarily the style of dressed down that works with a more dressed up jacket, and also not dressed up enough for it, right? So it didn't go on either end for me. So I can see where someone, if he was the type of guy who was like, how we said, self-proclaimed metrosexual or fashionista or whatever, he wouldn't want, and it is superficial, I'm not saying it isn't, but if he didn't want to be seen with someone who wasn't in an outfit that was, let's say, to his standard, right? I get having that kind of like, ooh, because I remember when I was dating and I didn't want to date someone who had bad shoes because I didn't want to have to change how they dressed. So I was like, that's a no for me. Like, can't continue this. They have bad shoes, you know. Or I would actually ask people about their shoes. Like, oh, like, do you like those shoes? Like,
do you like those shoes?
No, I would say something. I would find out why they got those shoes, because then
she was a woman obsessed.
Sometimes some guys just are like, oh no, I need a new pair of shoes, so I just bought them. It's not that they truly loved them and that's their true fashion style. Or they're like, you know, I just feel like I don't have the greatest style or something. Then I'd be like, okay, cool. They're open to the experience of changing their style up a bit. You know what I mean? Getting an upgrade to my upgrade. But you know what I mean? Like, so I was never the type to be like, I'm going to just change someone. I wanted someone who already did what they wanted to do that I liked, you know?
So in your telling of all that information right now, if you were in a situation where a guy showed up and you were supposed to go to a company party and you didn't like his shoes, would you have sent him home in an Uber, or would you just sucked it through and just been like salty about the shoes?
Okay, but that's not fair. I'm guilty about everything, so I wouldn't have done it. I would have sucked it up, but I would have been so embarrassed on the inside.
Yeah.
I would have been super embarrassed on the inside.
You'd be like seething. Like, I know you'd be like sitting there like seething over these shoes.
So that's where it's like, I get where he's coming from, if that's in fact
what it is,
what the situation was for him in his mind, because we only have her perspective. And I'm not saying she's wrong. She may very well be right, but I'm just saying, in the snippet of seeing her outfit, I'm allowing the benefit of the doubt for this guy, but probably she is right in terms of all the other factors.
Well, yeah,
that she
when
said,
you put into the other factors, all the other comments that we're saying, yeah.
But taking it out of context and making it a solo event, and they're just at the start of that relationship, I can see
there was a lot to unpack
where it could be a thing, right? And then everyone deals with things differently. Where like I said, I'd feel guilty, but still go with this person and be super embarrassed.
Yeah.
Remember that guy that you hated that I dated? The wine guy?
Oh, right.
Okay, so he had bad shoes. He dressed all right. He was like, yeah, he dressed all right. He was cute, like, but his shoes were just not. And I had said, like, girl, his shoes. You know, that was that, right? So, but that's, yeah. So, no, it's, yeah. I wouldn't.
I know you wouldn't.
In the context of these shoes, I can see where he's coming. Her outfit. Sorry, and I'm stuck on the shoes. In the context of her outfit that day, I can see where if he's like me, not my fave.
Yeah.
Was she dressed casual enough? I don't
feel like
whatever. I could see where she was going.
I don't think it was a situation where her outfit was that heinous that where it warranted him being like, go home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, number one.
I'm like, he's brave. He's brave and he did it. He did what I wish I could.
No, like, yes, her outfit was clashy. If we're going by like color palettes and shit, yes. And like whatever she was wearing. But I don't think that, as much as I like or dislike the person's outfit, I don't think I would be like, okay, we'll just go home because I can't, you know, deal with you in this at my work looking the way you do. Like, I don't think I would ever be like that move to be like, okay, here, let me order an Uber for you.
And if he's,
you know what I mean? Like,
what if he's like really superficial and he's already built up this persona of who he is and who he dates and who he has around him and his standard, then maybe, again, they're only at 3 weeks. It's not like they were at like 8 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe up until that point, she did make some good choices, or her outfits did work. So he didn't see he didn't see a problem with it. Maybe she wore the wrong belt with one outfit, or, you know, like it wasn't too bad. But this outfit, but again, if it was a matter of that she was wearing a crop top, because she did mention that because it was a crop top, and she was like, I think that was his problem more so, or is what she, because it doesn't seem like he said it was a crop top was a problem.
No, he didn't.
She's assuming that the crop top was. So if in fact it was that, then yeah, like the revealing shit, like let her wear what she wants. She's comfortable. That's her business, you know?
Exactly.
And it wasn't like it was a black tie affair.
No, it was an athleisure company. Mm-hmm. So,
and even in that, even in a context of black tie event, there are some really nice outfits. Like, think of like, I think it's not a lenga. In Indian culture, they have it might be the saris actually, like
with the short shirts.
They have the ones that have the crop top and the whatever, and it's freaking nice,
elegant,
and it doesn't look trashy. It doesn't look too revealing. It doesn't look all that stuff. Yeah. It's actually really classy, right?
Very classy looking.
So
yeah,
I can see. I even if it was a dressed up type of event,
it would still be within the confines of the dress code. Yeah,
could still fit it within that, right?
For sure.
And being dressed down, a crop top always fits within a dress down, right? Like, so, and hers was, it just did she had the high waisted, she had the thing. It wasn't like it was just like a bra top, even to say, not to say that you can't wear a bra top, but
it's not. It wasn't anything worth being like, oh, clutch my pearls, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't distasteful in any way. She wasn't like.
I feel like he was doing a little bit too much, in my opinion. This whole situation is just, you know, the bright side of it is it's a good thing she got out when she did, because to have to endure a relationship with somebody like that who you feel is like trying to control you or doesn't like the way you look, like, that's not the good foundation for a relationship anyway.
No.
So she's definitely better off for leaving that person with their, issues or whatever.
Well, and like we were saying about an example was like, again, it's just from the tidbits that we see. Like, we don't know the real truth. It's the tidbits. So like Kanye and what's her name, Kim, and how there was this one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where she was doing the Met Gala and she was doing that drip dress. And then he decided, like, they had discussed and last minute, after like months of planning this outfit, he was like, I don't know if I want the mother of my children to be wearing something like that, distasteful and blah, 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 like whatever he said.
Yeah.
But basically along those lines, paraphrasing. And then she was like, okay, but it's been months of planning and you've been okay with it until this day. Like, I'm not going to not wear it now.
Mm-hmm.
And
too late.
Not to mention the fact that I've started dressing the way I dress because you've been dressing me, like, essentially. Like, he's been her stylist almost for
years, yeah.
Their relationship, basically. Uh-huh. And now all of a sudden, because you found a different journey that you're on, now I have to stop what I'm doing because you're on a different path. Like, no, that's your thing, not mine, right? And I feel like that's kind of how these situations are. Like, he's going to tell her what to wear, but then later he'd be like, oh, you're too, like...
and definitely in that context, like, he's definitely the controlling type from what, like, all the little tidbits that we've, like, gathered in the last, like, over, like, whatever decade that they've been together. Mm-hmm. And then, like, fast forward to now where, like, they're going through divorce proceedings and, like, she's, like, adamantly, like, not trying to get back together with him. And he's declared to the world that he's going to get her back. He's going to win back Kimberly.
Even though she's dating somebody.
And she's dating somebody else, whether it's real or PR stunt, we don't know. But still, she's appearing to be moving on. She's filed legal documents declaring that she's not in any shape or form trying to reconcile their relationship. And now we are in a situation where he's bought a house across from her. So I have two thoughts about this because from the controlling standpoint, yes, it appears very controlling, but also they have children. So from a custody standpoint, like, if you live close together, you don't have to, like, travel halfway across town to go drop your kids off.
Well, I think you know what I mean?
Amazing. I think that part of it is brilliant.
Especially being famous, like, to the level of notoriety that they have. Mm-hmm. I think that it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because
That's perfect.
The kids can cross the street on their own.
Yeah.
Like, it's
like, see you later.
You know, or even, obviously they're not going to do it on their own, but with security and stuff,
close by
it's
enough
an
that you don't have to worry.
thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than, you know, if you have to drive from different areas or whatever.
Mm-hmm. From a custody sharing standpoint, then it's perfect. But if you're talking about like the whole controlling thing and how we've already established that he's like trying his darndest to like, you know, get her back, that's not the way to go about it.
But for all we know, that in itself is a publicity stunt with that family because they're probably like, they're probably like, well, Kanye, you said all this stuff, so let's continue on this path.
Just so they stay in the news.
Yeah, because it, like, as we know, that family likes to all live together. Like, what's her name? Chloe was building a property just on her mom's property. Yeah. Like, her mom bought a property, and then her mom basically sold her a piece of the property, and then she built her house on the property. And then they were building another house on the property for fun, and then they weren't sure who was gonna, like, if anyone else was gonna buy it or if it was just a guest house or whatever. But so, and then at one point the mom had lived basically next door to Kim, and there was like that whole thing where she was like just crossing over through the garden to Kim's, and then security stopped her one day and was like, girl,
what are you doing?
Like, you know, so there's that. They're a family that clearly love to live close to each other. So it could have been something that they actually agreed on. Yeah. But it's just in the news.
Context is everything, right? Like,
it's so hard, And
then like, so like for normal people, if that were to happen, like if you're in a
but in real life relationship,
if you're in an abusive relationship and the person,
a situationship.
I don't know why you said that, but yeah, like if you're in an abusive relationship and the person who is your abuser / spouse, who you're trying to, you know, make a life separate from, has now decided to move across the street from you.
That's a bit of
a problem.
Yeah, that's
a bit of a problem. Because I would gather at that point, like, there wouldn't be some sort of custody agreement because you would be trying to flee this person. You know, and it would just not be like ideal. Or if this person is like become stalkerish because you're trying to break up with them and they've purchased a house across the street from you, then it would be grounds for like whatever.
But you know what? Even in Kanye and Kim's situation, like based on, again, what we know, I feel like it's not a bad thing because she had said that him always living out of state and him constantly moving from place to place was part of the downfall of their relationship because she wanted someone to share life with and be around, basically.
And he was never there.
So him moving closer for his kids and like,
well, we don't know whether it's for the kids or not.
I'm saying like if that's the situation, there's a more likely of a chance for them to be even amicable with each other if
he's just right there
around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, these people live on these huge lots. They're not living on what I'm living. Like, they're not in a semi-detached home. You know what I mean? Like, they're not. This isn't a townhouse.
They're taking a golf cart to the person's house. Like, there's acres in between them.
Yeah. They're not living in complex. Like, there's space. So, I think that, you know, it's not horrible what he's doing in the context of what we know of their relationship. So, what do you think? How do you feel about these two scenarios? Are you going to make someone go home in an Uber because you hate what they're wearing?
Do you think these are signs of a toxic relationship?
Or not?
Let us know. All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.